Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is a video. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's a video that is it's kind of an addendum, if you like, to the previous video I put up about the whole adpocalypse thing. First thing I want to say is a big, huge thank you to everyone who jumped on Patreon and chucked me some spare cash. Really appreciate it. The total's gone up by quite a bit actually over the last over the weekend, and I'm no longer shitting myself as when it comes to my paycheck anymore. Let's put it that way. So that is a huge relief, and I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who did that. You've relieved a great deal of stress in the short term by doing that, and I appreciate it a lot. However, there was some stuff I wanted to talk about, stuff which had sort of come up as a result of that discussion that I wanted to expand upon a bit and talk about, because people had some things to say in the comments, and I think those things are worth discussing. So right now, what you're looking at is the Creator Studio thing. This is the behind-the-scenes stuff that I get to see as a YouTube content creator, or whatever the official title is these days. We're in the analytics section. As you can see on the left hand side here, I'm trying to be quite careful with what I show you here, because I don't want to I don't want to show you anything I'm supposed to technically not allowed to show you. I know it's a bit weird when it comes to this stuff. But I think we should be fine with this. I don't think a lot of YouTubers really share this sort of stuff, to be honest with you. I've never seen anyone do this, or they just show you the raw analytics, you know, in person, so to speak. But that's what I'm going to do today, just to demonstrate and talk about something kind of that's elephant in the room, really, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to all of this sort of stuff. So there are loads and loads of supportive comments, and this is probably another one of those cases of the dissenting voices always speak the loudest, and you tend to unnecessarily focus on those above all the positive feedback you get, which is usually in the majority. But you know, there was lots of positive feedback and supportive stuff going on in the comments, which was obviously again appreciated. But obviously there were a lot of people who were, well, you know, there were some people who basically said that they wouldn't support me because they felt that I either don't upload regularly enough, or they felt like I strayed too far from what I was originally doing whenever it was that they started supporting me or something. So, and I think that's worth talking about. So the second point, since this is a bit of a short one to tackle, that's a difficult problem for me, really, as a video maker, because I can't stick to making the same thing all the time, just constantly, because for one thing, I will start to really hate it, and for another thing, people get bored. It's pure and simple. People get bored. For every person who gets annoyed that I'm not doing what I used to be doing, there's 10 people who got bored of me doing the same thing and went off to watch something else. If a channel has to survive, I think you have to diversify content quite a bit, and unfortunately, that is necessarily going to annoy people who subscribe for like one particular thing. So yeah, it's a rock and a hard place, catch-22 kind of a thing. You know, you diversify content and you move into doing new and different things, and potentially grow and keep people a bit more interested instead of doing the same shit all the time. Or in the process, you also piss off people that basically were there for one thing and one thing only. So you have to weigh up and gamble on which is the better option, and there's really no way of figuring out exactly what the best decision is in that scenario, unfortunately. Because as a video maker, it's I like to diversify stuff and do new things, because, well, for one thing, because it encourages a bit more growth and brings new people in, but for another thing, it just makes the job more interesting, frankly. Some people have the fortitude and the enthusiasm to play literally one game for like 6 years on YouTube and just do that constantly and nothing else. I'm not one of those people, or at least I don't play the sort of games I don't think that enable you to play for that length of time and still remain interested and enthusiastic about them. I think that the only kind of games that really works with it, honestly, is stuff like multiplayer games, stuff where the replay value is virtually limitless. You know, Elder Scrolls games, admittedly, they do have a lot of replay value, but only to a point. Really, only to a certain point. I've certainly reached that point, I think, with Skyrim. Outside of installing quest mods and things like that to artificially lengthen the amount of time I can keep playing the game. But that's an inherent problem. But yeah, I mean, this is just we're going to get into the blood and guts of the analytics here, and I want to show you something important. And this is something I've been aware of for a very, very long time now, and has influenced the amount of effort and time I effectively put into this channel these days, actually, really. And I think I just want to have a very frank discussion with you folks so that you understand what exactly is going on. And so maybe then you can understand why I run things the way I do these days. So what you're looking at here is a graph. Basically, this is for watch time, number of like total watch minutes or whatever that is. And I've divided it by years. So I've set the metric to yearly because that gives you the smoothest line, going up and down all over the place constantly. It'd look like a right mess if I did it daily. But here you go. Here's the yearly metric for a number of minutes, like in total watched. There's no one single metric for measuring how successful a channel is or how well it's doing, but there are a bunch of indicators, and this is certainly one of them. So as you can see here at the start, this is back when the channel started back in 2011. Can't believe it's been that long already, but yeah. And you can see the watch time in minutes. It goes up, it goes up, it goes up on a steady increase. And then it peaks in 2015. And then it comes down again in 2016. And it continues to go down this year in 2017. Look at the watch time in minutes as well. 84 million minutes. 54. 42. It's quite a decrease. It's quite a massive decrease. Now, there are a number of factors involved in this, I would imagine, including but not limited to changes to my upload schedule, changes to what games I'm playing, I suppose, and also changes to YouTube's algorithms, which become more and more aggressive as the years have gone by, to the point where now I don't keep up with this stuff anymore, frankly, as much as I probably should, but I'm vaguely aware of them at the moment that there's a thing. It was either introduced recently or it was discovered recently by someone other than YouTube, because they don't like to share this stuff with people who actually make the videos on their website. They keep it all in the dark. But basically, if your videos are irregularly uploaded, as in unless you stick to a very specific set schedule. The algorithms on YouTube's website that bump videos up and down in searches and stuff like that, they will bump you down if you're not completely and utterly like clockwork regular with your uploads, which means that people who either can't or won't upload to a set regular schedule, they suffer basically. And obviously, I don't have anything even approaching a regular schedule. I've tried it before in the past, and it's just never worked out, really. It's sort of, I managed to keep it up for like a period of a few weeks, and then it all just kind of falls to bits. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of different reasons for that, but the basic general gist of what I'm trying to show you here is that this channel has already peaked. Its time in the sun has come and gone, really, at this point. For better or worse, we can argue all the livelong day about decisions I could have or should have made differently back in the day to ensure that the channel continued to grow more or something like that. But the fact is, none of that happened. And I think now the damage has effectively been done. We peaked in 2015, and that was as far as the growth went. And that's as far as the growth I think is ever going to go. Because at this point, this channel has been going for so long and has so much algorithmic baggage essentially tied up in it over the years that I don't think it's ever really going to reach that again, and it's certainly never going to exceed it again. You can, I mean, this is watch time. You can look at other things as well. You can look at subscribers. Again, slightly different, but the overall trend is exactly the same. It peaks in 2015 and drops off rapidly after that. Likes and dislikes are exactly the same. Comments even are the same. Sharing's a weird one. I don't know why this is, but for some reason it peaks in 2015 and kind of stays there. But YouTube do note here that there's some inconsistencies with the way the data is reported on this one. So, yeah, maybe that's got something to do with it. But, yeah, so is there anything else here that's useful, really? About locations, demographics, audience retention. I wonder what audience retention's like. Audience retention is markedly different. That's interesting. Average view duration, basically. I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that as time has gone on, I've uploaded longer and longer and longer videos. That's probably what that's to do with, but anyway. So, yeah, as you can see, the numbers are fairly clear. This channel has been declining for 2 years now, and I've noticed the entire time. You know, it's not something I've openly discussed like this until now, but I've noticed that the past 2 years that the channel has inevitably declined. And frankly, at this point, I mean, every YouTube channel does inevitably have an expiration date on it. There is a point where either the creator gets fed up and just doesn't want to do anymore, or the audience simply gets bored and leaves. You know, it's one of the two usually, unless, you know, the person making the channel dies or something, but, you know, that's pretty rare, so... But, you know, every channel has an expiration date, and judging by the metrics at the moment, the expiration date on this channel is probably in the next couple of years or something following the current trends. So, that is something you have to bear in mind when it comes to how much effort I am willing to put into the channel these days. That is the sad and honest and blunt truth. I don't put as much effort into this channel these days because it's on its way out pretty much, I think, regardless of what I do, unless I uploaded some video or some series that inexplicably went completely viral for some reason. There's just no reason why, or nothing I could really do, I don't think, to actually catapult this back up into a trend of positive growth. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it is at all. So, if you, it's fair to say, if you are supporting me on Patreon, that is awesome. And, you know, admittedly, actually, the response I got over the weekend has given me some hope. But the fact of the matter is, if this is going to continue surviving, this channel is going to continue surviving and keep going and keep paying the bills and keep doing what it's doing in the way that it is right now, the only way it's going to be able to do it is through basically through support like Patreon and other means like that, using the same methods essentially that more niche YouTube channels and stuff already do. You know, channels for very niche hobbies like flight simulation or tabletop gaming and things like that, you know, where the audience is very, very, very small, but they still are able to continue going basically just through paid for subscription content and, you know, paid crowdfunding and things like that. It's the only way it's really ever going to, I think it's going to continue beyond where it is now, I suppose. And even then, I suppose there's an argument to be made that really all it's doing is slowing the inevitable decline, I suppose, really. I mean, quite clearly, as you can see here from the statistics, it can't go on forever. I can't keep doing this forever. And yeah, short version is this is essentially the reason, this graph right here is the reason why recently in the last year or so, you've seen me pay a lot, put a lot less effort, I have to admit, into YouTube. You know, I started off this year by basically saying, you know what, I'm going to try and do this. The start of this year was basically my point where I said, I'm going to try and pull this back from the brink if I can. I'm going to upload as much as I can, barring a few times where I had to either leave or I was sick or something like that, which has happened a few times this year, unfortunately. But in between that, I tried my best to upload as frequently as I could, and to just see if simply by doing that, I could actually make a difference. And it seems like no, really. So far, it seems like that the answer is kind of no. I even launched a new Fallout 4 series, a brand new Bethesda game series. I launched that, and so far that seems to have put barely a dent in the downward growth at all. If anything, it's not even that could really change it. Unfortunately, it seems so. It's a bit fatalistic of me, but I think when you look at the data, it's only going in one direction at the moment. Is downwards. And so that's why you've seen me focus a lot more on things like Twitch lately. I know it's a tired old subject, but I know that lots of people don't like Twitch for various reasons. They just don't like it, and they refuse to watch it, and that's fine. It's not everyone's cup of tea, frankly. Sometimes I'm in the mood for videos over Twitch, and sometimes it's vice versa. But yeah. Again, there are certain types of content I think do definitely work much better as videos than they do as Twitch streams. Twitch streams are only good for certain things, and likewise, videos are only good for certain things. But ultimately, when you when you cast all of that sort of stuff aside and get down to the basic mathematics of it, the numbers here, my Twitch channel's growing and is on an upward positive trend, whilst YouTube is on a downward positive trend. I mean, downward positive trend? No, downward negative trend, and has been for the last 2 years. So you have to, when you look at the numbers like this, right? You have to understand why I'm making the decisions I am, why I'm focusing on Twitch, and why I'm focusing less on YouTube these days. It's because of this. It's not because I don't like you people who watch on YouTube. It's not because I don't care about you. And it's not because I don't care necessarily about the video series I've got going. That Skyrim series, as much as it has driven me mad over the years in some certain ways, I do love it, and I do definitely want to see it finished, because I think it deserves an ending, if anything. But that wishy-washy crap aside, the fact is, it's dying. The YouTube side of things is dying. Part of that is my fault. Part of it is the YouTube platform itself is on a downward trend, ultimately, I think, in recent years. So, and this adpocalypse thing certainly doesn't bloody help, really. We're talking like an additional nail in the coffin at this point. Like, bloody hell. You guys over on Patreon have effectively you've cushioned the blow, that's for sure. But, yeah. It doesn't change the mathematics of the situation, if you see what I mean. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm afraid they're not pretty thoughts. But they're I can't argue with the statistics. I can't bury my head in the sand and pretend that there's not a problem here, because there quite clearly is one, as you can see right now. And maybe that'll serve as an explanation for why I don't focus on YouTube as much as I could. I've seen some unfavorable comparisons between me and other YouTubers who do upload regularly, but inevitably the examples being made are YouTubers which have a far bigger audience than me. We're talking people with upwards of 200,000 subscribers versus my 70,000 subscribers, of which 2,000 or so actually bother to watch my videos regularly. It's not a fair comparison, in my opinion. If I had an audience that big, if I had an audience of 200,000 subscribers, then you bet your fucking bottom dollar I would be uploading at least one video a day, if not more. But I'm not in that situation, so and quite frequently YouTubers like that, they'll upload shorter videos too. I upload much longer ones. I can give you 2-hour-long videos a week, and that will equate to about the same amount of viewing time as someone who uploads 5, 10, 20-minute videos a week or whatever. I don't know if the maths on that checks out now that I think about it, but you get the idea. You know what I'm saying. So, but either way, that's the thing. I've other people I've seen complain about me uploading stream VODs onto YouTube, because it gives an impression that the YouTube is somehow an afterthought. Again, it's catch-22. It's wonderful stuff, you know. I don't upload the VODs, and people complain that I'm not uploading the VODs because they miss the stream and they don't get to watch it. If I do upload the VODs, people complain because they don't want to see them or they think it's me being lazy or something like that. So, yeah. Well, anyway, that's just part. It comes with the territory, doesn't it? What are you going to do? I don't think there was an overall real point to this video, now that I think about it. I just wanted to ramble and discuss this frankly and honestly, and show you the analytics behind the scenes so you can get a sense of what it is I'm looking at every day at my end, basically. And just to explain that, you know, this year I have tried. I really have tried. I tried doing regular uploads, I think, for a fairly lengthy period. I was doing almost a video every day, and they weren't short videos either. And that didn't make a noticeable difference behind the scenes here from me looking at the data. That didn't make a noticeable difference. I made an effort to try and do some slightly different kinds of videos. I did a couple of sort of opinion-based videos, which involved a lot of editing and a bit of research, and, you know, writing a damn script for one thing, which took a good couple of days to do, I think, for each script. And that didn't do anything either, really. That didn't pick up or take off much at all. I launched a brand new big Bethesda roleplay series type thing in the form of, you know, Fallout 4. I even did a whole custom bloody intro thing for it. And again, that hasn't made a change either. So, yeah, you can see, hopefully from my perspective, that it's not that I've just sat here and watched it decline while doing nothing. I have actually made an effort in the last year or so to try and turn it around, and yet the numbers indicate that my efforts have been more or less in vain, really. So maybe as a result of that, you can understand why, when it comes to YouTube these days, I just feel like saying, fuck it, man. Fuck it. You know, so I don't know. I don't know what to do or say anymore. It's the bright spot, I suppose, is my actual paycheck at the moment is staying relatively stable. Certainly not growing, but it's staying relatively stable. Although, honestly, frankly, the part of the reason for that is because I have a Twitch income now instead of purely YouTube and Patreon. So that makes a big difference. I think if I didn't have the Twitch income, my paycheck would be shrinking quite dramatically at the moment. So, yeah, it's multiple revenue sources and stuff like that. And as a result of all this sort of thing, I've had to, for quite some time, do other part-time stuff in real life away from the computer, away from YouTube and stuff like that. And that also eats away at my time as well. But unfortunately, it's something you have to do because, you know, you need money to live and all that stuff. So, you know, yeah, I can't be the kind of YouTuber I think a lot of people want me to be. Unfortunately, I can't be the guy who brings you 30 minutes of video every single day because I have other commitments, and frankly aren't enough hours in the day. I don't have anyone helping me out here. I'm not part of an office or anything like that. I don't have an assistant working through this stuff with me. It's all me on my shitty computer with a piece of editing software that constantly crashes all the time and an internet connection that dies every time it rains outside. My God, like, come on. I mean, it's just my luck. I have an internet connection that dies in the rain, and I live in England, of all places. I mean, bloody hell. But yeah, so again, I'd like to be able to neatly sum this up somehow, but I don't think I can, because it's mostly just been a nameless ramble about, yeah, stuff, analytics and data and where things are going, and I think by now you've probably gotten the idea. And I think, if anything, this video just served as a method for me to, A, address a few points people have made, and also, B, just purely get this off my chest, because this is something I have not discussed really at all very much. And it feels good to get it out there and actually say, look, guys, this is the honest-to-God picture. This is what's going on. And, yeah, there seems to be nothing I can do about it. So, at least, you know, I can't change anything, it seems, but at least everybody knows what's going on now. So maybe that helps somehow. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe still people will be still pissed off with me. Maybe people will be more pissed off with me. Who knows? This may do more damage than it undamages words. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was a very frank discussion about this channel and where it's going. I wouldn't say I hope you enjoyed it, because it wasn't a very enjoyable subject to make. Probably going to put me in a bad mood for the rest of the day, this is, honestly. I hate discussing this shit. I really do. I procrastinated for almost a week over the previous video. Trying to decide whether or not even to make that, because ultimately every time you do something like this, people pop out of the woodwork and have nasty things to say. And especially with all that adpocalypse bollocks, people insist on getting all political about it, and oh god, it's all a fucking conspiracy. It's these people responsible. No, it's these people responsible. It's the corporations, man. No, it's the communists. I haven't got time for that shit. I frankly have not. So anyway, yeah. That's the picture. That's the broader picture. That's what's going on, folks. I'm being honest here. I'm showing you the data itself, so it can speak for itself, which I think it has, in spite of my rambling for a good 25 minutes here. Somebody will complain about that too. Somebody, I guarantee you, will complain that this video was 26 minutes long. Someone complained on the last one. They were like, oh, it's 20 minutes just to rant about Apocalypse and Patreon. I'm like, I'm sorry, are you new here? Jesus Christ. When have I ever not rambled on for a 20-plus minute on a subject that could probably be summed up in 10, you know? Good grief. I've been doing this for 6 fucking years. Have you not figured this out by now? Anyway, never mind. That's another rant for another day. Oh, God. I'm only being half tongue-in-cheek anyway, whatever. You're all right. I probably should summarize things a bit quicker, but that's just not my style, apparently. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to catch you next time. I'm going to get a cup of tea once this is done. I'm going to go make an actual video, a proper one, you know, with actual gameplay and stuff in it. And I think I might get a chocolate biscuit as well, because I could do with a bit of cheering up, frankly. Yeah, I guess I'll see you in that video then. Is there anything else I need to mention? I don't think there is, really. Beyond, if you want to see more regular stuff from me and want to keep a lot more up to date with how things are going at my end and what's going on and what things I'm working on and stuff like that, then I would consider perhaps giving me a follow on my Twitch channel. I don't know. Twitch might be something you've never bothered with before, you don't think much of it, but I would encourage you to just maybe give it a go anyway. Because even if you're not that interested in maybe the games I'm playing, I quite often talk about lots of other stuff, including a lot of behind the scenes stuff like this, to be honest with you. I tend to openly discuss a lot more stuff with the Twitch audience than I do here on YouTube, just because that's the nature of the platform. But I don't know. That's you've probably made up your mind by this point on that whole subject. You know, if you're either interested or you're not. So I don't know why I'm bothering to say this, frankly. And oh yeah, there's one other thing as well. You notice actually there's a YouTube Red Views thing here. This is something that did occur to me after I made the last video, and I wish I'd mentioned it in the fucking video because it's actually quite relevant information. But if you don't feel like supporting me specifically on Patreon, that's fair enough. You know, ultimately, I'm not demanding payment from people here. If you don't think I'm worth your money, then don't give me your money. I mean, it's simple market economics, right? You know. My content's only worth what people think it's worth to them at the end of the day. So it with its weird video lengths and infrequent uploads, and the fact that I frankly don't finish a lot of stuff that I start. You know, if you don't like that, then you know obviously don't give me any money. But you know, if it's something you have gotten a lot of enjoyment out over the years, then maybe you could consider contributing. That's it. But anyway, the point I was trying to make before I went off on that tangent was, YouTube Red is a thing. So if you don't feel like specifically supporting me via Patreon for whatever reason, What I would tell you to do is consider getting a YouTube Red subscription instead. Now, YouTube Red admittedly was a bit of a joke when it started out, but it has grown into something that's actually quite useful to a lot of content creators, and it's useful for a very simple reason. The way it works is when I get my revenue report in every month, there's two subtitles. There's one from ads, and there's one from YouTube Red views. And basically, the way that works is when someone with YouTube Red watches a video that's monetized, they don't watch the advert because that's part of the bonus of YouTube Red. You know, you don't have to watch any adverts anymore. And what happens is YouTube, because you're not getting a monetized view for your video by people who watch YouTube Red, YouTube therefore compensates you for the monetized view that you didn't get. And the thing is, YouTube actually compensates you way more than you would have actually got for the monetized view, which means that you get a disproportionately large amount of money versus regular monetized views from YouTube Red views. It's quite a significant amount, actually. And here's the kicker. Here's the really, really, really important bit. YouTube Red views still pay me even on demonetized videos. Even on videos that have been nuked by the adpocalypse, I still get money on them from people with YouTube Red who watch them. That's really super important. I wasn't sure if this was the case, frankly, when I made the last video. Otherwise, I definitely would have mentioned it. But I went and did some research, and it is actually the case. If you have YouTube Red and you watch a video that's been hit by the demonetization thing, bot, whatever, the creator of the video will still get the full YouTube Red payout from you watching their video, even though it's been demonetized or whatever. So there you go. If you don't feel like supporting me specifically, I would encourage you to get a YouTube Red thing anyway, because for one thing, you get benefits like not having to watch adverts, and for another, it supports literally everybody whose videos you watch. It's not just any specific any specific YouTuber or anything like that. It's literally every video by anyone who has monetized content you watch will directly benefit a significant amount by you simply having a YouTube Red subscription. So it sounds like I'm bloody shilling for YouTube now. It's the last thing I'd want to do. Bloody YouTube, eh? You know. But anyway, admittedly, YouTube Red seems to be one of the few very good ideas they've had in recent years. So, which means they'll probably put a stop to it soon. Actually, given current trends, as soon as YouTube comes up with a great idea for something, and that's usually about the time that they pull the plug on it. So yeah, maybe they'll kill YouTube Red fairly soon. Now that I think about it, but anyway, until that inevitably happens, it is actually a useful sort of income for YouTubers like myself. So I guess that was worth mentioning as well. We're now up to 32 minutes. And I think I'm going to end the video right now before this becomes embarrassingly long. Thanks for watching, I guess. I imagine very few people have actually sat through this to the end, but if you are one of the people listening right now who did sit through to the end, congratulations. You're special, I guess. Thanks for watching. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Next proper video, I promise. It'll be an actual video. We'll be playing an actual video game, I swear. Toodaloo!